Let's get to our co-main event where we have a very intriguing fight. Maybe not co-main event pay-per-view worthy, but definitely very, very intriguing. Featuring a UFC belle of the ball here with Miss Macy Barber coming in as a very slight underdog here against Alexa Grasso, who's been through the ringer in the UFC already. Very much looking forward to this fight. And I started this breakdown off simply by saying belle of the ball because this is a theme that I want to make something real in 2021 because it has been for the first three cards in the UFC. We didn't have one last week as I didn't feel the UFC is pushing anybody, but clearly they're pushing Macy Barber here, who's coming off a loss, and they still put her in that co-main event slot here. They're 0-3 in 2021. We got Joaquin Buckley that gets deaded by Alessio Di Chirico. We got Munir Lazzez that gets put away by Warley Alves. And then we got Amanda Ribas, who got absolutely torched on the feet by one Marina Rodriguez. Is Alexa Grasso going to do the same thing here to Macy Barber? And in my opinion, I think so. I like what we see from Alexa Grasso. I like what we see from her hands. She's very experienced at this point in time. The only time we've ever seen her finish, which is more often than not the path to victory for Macy Barber, she only got tapped out by Tatiana Nurmagomedov because that girl is an absolute beast, deserves to be champion at 115 pounds. Unfortunately for her, she just can't stay active enough. I think she has a lingering neck issue or a spinal issue or something. But if she was active, she would absolutely be champion. So to get finished by a girl like Tatiana is not anything to hang your head too low about. But when you talk about like the stylistic matchup here, Macy Barber really likes to use her kicks. She's very powerful too. She's put it like all of her wins have come via finish, except that one where she took Mallory Martin to a decision. I think it was her second ever fight. But for the most part, she goes out there and puts chicks away, even if she's down early. You know what I mean? The JJ Aldrich fight, we saw JJ technically the better boxer in that fight, and she landed some good strikes on her, even planted Macy on her butt a couple times. And if you go back and look at the judges' scorecards, all of them gave it to JJ Aldrich in that first round. But again, just like I forgot who I brought up a couple weeks ago. They always lose rounds, but then they go out and finish their opponent in the second round, so the judges' scorecards don't even matter. I believe in the durability of Alexa Grasso. I think she'll be able to take the shots of Macy Barber, and add into the fact that Macy's coming off that serious knee injury after that Roxanne Modafferi fight. I think this is a very, very tough fight for her to come back to. I will go out there and say that I believe Alexa Grasso is the toughest opponent that she's faced to date. Roxanne Modafferi is tough in an extent that she brought that grappling edge, whereas Alexa Grasso is going to be more refined on the feet, at least in my opinion. I will also throw this hot take out there that we saw Roxanne Modafferi win that first round against Macy Barber, even with Macy Barber at 100%. She tore that knee in that second round after she got dropped by a jab from, or a lead hook. I will give it to that from Roxanne Modafferi. That's where we see Macy Barber go down, start clinching at her knee. And that's obviously, you know, she did have some success after that. She reversed positions a couple times, landed some good shots from on top. Then we see Roxanne Modafferi regain position. But could have been, given how that first round went, if Roxanne Modafferi's durability held up, she could possibly take down Macy Barber over and over again and possibly win that fight regardless. But this is a completely different matchup. You got two strikers going at each other, and I think that Alexa Grasso has the technical advantage here. I do like what we see from Alexa. I think she's going to be the sharpest striker, the shots down the middle, kind of standing her ground whenever Macy Barber's throwing her weird kicks and kind of her taekwondo, karate style, whatever you want to call it. She likes throwing her kicks. That's what her game is based around. And then she starts to let her hands go. But it doesn't look good when you're getting dropped by some of these girls that are technically better in the boxing realm, and now you're going up against one of the better boxers in the UFC. At least in this flyweight division now. And that's another aspect I want to bring up in this is both these fighters used to be at 115 pounds. Both had a ton of issues trying to cut the weight, get down to that weight class, and now they're up to at 125 pounds. Last time we saw Alexa Grasso go out there and fight Ji Yoon Kim, and you can see noticeably that she's a smaller fighter, but she still goes out there and wins that fight. Macy Barber, on the other hand, I think we just saw her fight Roxanne Modafferi at 125 pounds. Obviously didn't go the greatest for her. I think we'll see Alexa Grasso land the better shots. I think we'll see her durability hold up, and I think she could win this fight via decision, and that's the approach that I'm taking here. So I like Grasso by decision, which is currently at plus 125. Wish I was getting a slightly better price tag. Personally, I bet her at minus 120. I see this as like a 55 to 60% chance that Grasso wins this fight, taking all things into consideration, the layoff, the technical advantages that I believe that Alexa Grasso has. And yeah, I think that Grasso is the much better fighter here, at least from the technical standpoint, and given where they're at in their careers. So I'm going Grasso decision plus 125. I believe you're on the other side. please make your case.
Yeah, I decided to go with Barber again. It's just a very close fight, and it's going to be a dog or pass fight. They were giving you Macy Barber at a dog price tag. It's like, whatever, I'm going to take a shot on it. And then furthermore, the Macy Barber by decision, because again, we're going to take these decision props. It's just an astronomical price tag, man. It's a nice, big, juicy plus money price tag. It's like, I'll chase it a little bit. Do I agree that Alexa Grasso is a better fighter? Yeah, dude, I completely agree. Macy Barber seems to be a fucking fraud. Okay, first and foremost, she's very much like Sage Northcutt in that she looks the part. She beats a whole bunch of cans. She comes to the UFC, but her primary trainer is her dad. And that only gets you so far. So let's look at the notable examples. And I mean, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, his dad was his coach, Ray Thompson, but he's a former champion, right? I mean, the Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews' dad's his top coach. The kid never progressed. He just never get any better. He just like plateaued. It's like, okay, Jake Matthews. Sage Northcutt. When Sage Northcutt came to TriStar, apparently he had a bad striking day. He called it sparring day. Calls his dad, got beat up, bad sparring day. Dad yanks him out of TriStar, takes him home. And then how has his career progressed? And then you see the same thing with Macy Barber. Bucky Barber is a fucking loser, man. This guy's out of his mind. Like, your daughter's the one competing. You should be supportive of her. You shouldn't be out there talking shit about girls like Roxanne Modafferi, who's a near 50-fight veteran of the sport, fought everybody on their mother. It's like, how are you going to disrespect somebody like that? But, oh, well, it's the knee injury. And Macy would beat this girl 9 out of 10 times if it wasn't for the knee injury and this and that. It's like, just accept the loss and move on. Barber's young, but Barber's just got her mouth is writing checks that her ass just can't check or cash. She's just young. She's 21 years old, and she's talking about, I'm going to beat John Jones's record as the youngest female champion. Bitch, have you not realized who the champion of your division is? Have you not? You want me to refresh your memory real quick? It's Valentina Shevchenko. You think your chances of defeating her as a 21-year-old prospect? No, it's not realistic. But that's the bullshit that she's been fed from childhood. You're better than the other kids you go to school with. You're better than the other kids in your gym. But see, she was originally at Fort Collins MMA, and the head coach there, it's another Colorado gym, but the head coach there is Ryan the Lion Schultz, Sengoku veteran, IFL veteran, dude, but was a grinding machine. Has that big win over Chris Horodecki in the IFL days really hurt Canadian fans. Absolute mauling of maulings in the rematch, of course. But it's like, man, that when she was with Ryan Schultz, he kept her grounded, and she used her wrestling a lot more. So you see on the Contender Series against Jamie Colleen, she takes Jamie Colleen down. She outgrinds her. She beats on her. The Hannah Cyphers fight, and then she looked good standing in that fight, but get the fight to the ground, muscle this girl to the ground. You see, then at some point, she bails on poor Ryan Schultz. Goodbye, Ryan Schultz. I'm going to go train at one of the bigger gyms in Colorado. Gets run out of those gyms, ends up at Rufus Sport, my least favorite gym on the planet. And then from there, it's like, now she thinks she's a fucking technical boxing wizard. She thinks her hands are real hot shit. She goes out in these fights, and she's not trying to take the fight to the ground anymore. She's not trying to use her size. She's just trying to get in there and just muscle, as if she thinks, I'm just going to hit this girl once and she'll topple over. So it was a really humbling experience to lose to Roxanne Modafferi, only she didn't seem humbled by it. She seemed more just like, oh, well, it was the knee. It was the knee. I'll tell you something. The knee injury is a blessing in disguise because Macy Barber is too young to be competing at this level and needed that time on the sidelines. She needed that time to refocus, to regroup, work on your other skills, work on your ground game, work on your wrestling, work on your jiu-jitsu, work on your striking, work on your head movement, work on your defensive lapses in your game, work on all that, rehab the knee. But instead of them just rushing her into another spot, or them just giving her a quick turnaround, at least she's been forced to sit on the sidelines, fix herself up, get remotivated. Now you don't got to think about youngest champion. That pressure's gone, right? That ain't going to happen. You're not beating the record. Just focus on getting back in the win column and doing your thing. The UFC's got enough faith that they're going to book her as a co-main event, so they're not completely off the ship just yet. She hasn't really shown you much, but the reason why I ended up making this a dogger pass instead of just fading, I mean, I just talked a whole bunch of shit about her. Why would you now be backing her? Well, the reason why is because they've done a good job in giving her. Alexa Grasso is the better fighter, appears to be, has the experience, all that. But Alexa Grasso is a natural strawweight. She's a 115-pound fighter. She's fought once in her entire career at 125. That was the last one against Young Kim, and she didn't look all that good. How does she lose at 115 pounds? Mostly always bigger, stronger, more physical fighters that back her up against the cage. Yeah, she's a boxer. She likes to box. Similar to her trading partner, Irene Aldana, she's pretty much a one-dimensional boxer. So why would you play that game? Why would you not just bully her into the cage and outmuscle her? So you see Ronda Marcos lose a split decision against her because she had a lot of success bullying this girl around. And then Carlos Esparza, it's the same thing. Bully this girl straight forward. And obviously, you know, with Tatiana Suarez, it's like she's such a gangster that, like, I'll give you a free pass on that one. But the game plan, the blueprint, has been shown. It's been written already. It's been drawn up. You need to not stand and strike with this girl at distance. You need to clinch her up, try to take her down, slow this thing down against the cage, and just use a lot of good clinch control. And Macy Barber hasn't been showing that lately, but that is at heart who she is. So looking at her Instagram stuff, I was really hoping that she wasn't just taking kickboxing classes at Rufus. And she linked up with Izzy Martinez, the former Jackson Winklejohn coach. And it seems like she's working a lot on her wrestling. And so I would like to hope that instead of, how did you lose against Roxanne? I got clipped by this shot that I didn't see coming because I didn't respect her and I really didn't think she was going to hit me, nor did I think it would do any damage. And it buckled my knee, right? Well, how are you going to win this fight? Don't go out there and stand with Alexa Grasso, a credible boxing champion, you know, one of the better pure, clean boxers in the division. Why would you go strike with her? If ego gets in the way, and it very well may, because it seems like that's kind of the personality that she has, but like don't let that be the case. Go back to your roots. Go back to the basics. Muscle this girl up against the cage, pin her to the ground, and win a decision. And to that effect, if Macy Barber just decides to fight that good game plan, her by decision is plus 300. So it's like, oh, I am betting all these decision props. Why not? This one's at least 3-1. You know, I haven't been getting 3-1s, but I've been getting like, you know, plus 105s, plus 120s, minus 120s. I mean, even Usman, I think he's only even money. So it's like decision props haven't been super favorable. But because Barber is aggressive, she's an inside the distance type fighter. Grasso's not. Grasso is the decision type fighter. So if Barber doesn't knock her out, how's she going to knock out Grasso? Hell of a chin on her. She's not going to submit. I guess she could, but I honestly don't see it happening, to be honest with you. Then she just does the same thing. Felice Herring, of all people, has got to win over Alexa Grasso by doing the same thing that the other three did. Use your physicality. Use your strength. Muscle up against the cage. Don't just box with her the whole time. Barber's got to do that. But again, I mean, this doesn't scream tons of confidence. This doesn't scream, I got a little upset for you guys here. It's just like, this is a close 50-50 wild match fight. Not a whole lot of confidence. Both girls got a bunch of red flags in their games, but I am going to side with the ever so slight underdog Macy Barber, and I would chase a little bit of extra price tag on that plus 300.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this fight. It almost reminds me of, maybe not the level of it, but Carlos Diego Ferreira and Benil Dariush from last week, where we have almost a 50-50 fight. Both individuals very, very skilled and making improvements on a fight-to-fight basis. So I'm very much looking forward to that. If you'd like to watch the full video, make sure you guys hit up odds.com. The link is in the description.